Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
The plinky plonky music can mean only one thing. It's Star Wars Skeleton Crew here on the Stuff and Things podcast. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss episode 4, it's Stefan.
Hello there.
Nice.
I love being able to do that intro for Star Wars stuff. I love it.
Well, especially when people have listened to us discuss Star Wars for so long and know the context you gave that.
Yes.
Which we won't discuss any further because that got us in trouble last time.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. It is Skeleton Crew episode 4 and the title of the episode was...
Can't say I remember no At-Attan.
Oh god, did you went and tried to do an accent again, didn't you?
I did. It failed epically.
Yeah, can't say I remember no At-Attan. Yeah.
It's not fair. You come from the same place as here. You can do the accent now.
There. I come from a place where farmers and pirates did make babies, and that be I. So yeah, har. So we are discussing episode 4, and again, really enjoyable episode, really enjoyable show. A few bits and pieces I want to kind of pull out and sort of have a bit of a laugh with you about, and the storyline progressing is keeping me very intrigued, and I understand you have a theory of where you feel the show is going. Is that right?
Potentially, yeah. I've got like this little thing in my head that I'm like, I reckon.
Do you want to kick off with that or end with it?
Let's end with it because it kind of ties into stuff that happened in the episode.
Okay, all right, that's
so
cool.
I'll end with it. I will say when they first the first bit of the episode where they're flying down over the planet.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look, the houses and stuff. There was a little part of me that went, that was bloody quick.
Yeah.
I was like, surely not already. Like, they could have done so much more. Then they landed, and I was like, oh, they are doing more.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take it back.
So, one of the interesting things we've had so far is this mystery about At-Attan, which is these kids are clearly from there. We've seen them. We've seen this, like, really strange suburban... weird kind of, we kind of said like straight away, it's like, yeah, it all looks peaceful and lovely, but there's something weird like with the droids and
nowhere
like
in Star Wars is that peaceful and lovely.
Yeah,
everything
and
has something bad going on.
And there's this tower, the supervisor's tower, no one's allowed in that, and it's like, what it's a bit odd. So
yes, we
then go from that to this kind of mystery of when they do blast off in this ship to being completely bewildering of what the hell, no one's heard of it. Everyone thinks of it as a myth. Like literally, I remember there was like a woman pirate in the spaceport literally like laughed at like, okay, funny, where are you really from? And we were kind of discussing it, weren't we? It's like the equivalent of like someone saying, where are you from in the real world? And saying, oh, Narnia.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, everyone knows it as this like story and joke. It can't be a real place. Come on.
So it's in a bit like saying Swindon. Now, come on, nowhere's that bad. Where are you really from? So they arrive, like you said, like this episode kind of dives straight in with them arriving at a planet. Like, yay, we found it! Look at it, it's our home. That's At-Attan. And I'm like, damn. Okay, we're just gonna go straight back. Okay, so...
The old lady was right. She sent them home. Brilliant. Okay.
So my brain is kind of calculating now. Like, okay, there's a lot of episodes left. Obviously, the big mystery is going to be unraveling what is At-Attan, but they're going to be back there. And what, how are the parents going to be with, like, this guy is, like, clearly a pirate. Like, okay, well, you returned our kids, thanks, but, you?
Yes, very much so, yeah.
So my brain was kind of doing that, and then they landed, and it looked like a scene from Terminator. Like where there's
post-apocalyptic dust everywhere.
Yeah. And even like the Captain Jod like comes out, is like, just the air tastes like carnage. like
yeah, it's like, oh.
Yeah,
like I taste ash. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's out the air. And I think even Neil was like, the ash is getting in my trunk. Very love you, Neil.
Yeah. Is Neil the best thing to come out of Star Wars for many years? Quite possibly.
Maybe, but there is part of this episode I really didn't like with Neil, so we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
It's a tongue in cheek thing, but it's or trunk in cheek.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of, so my brain's kind of like, okay, are they on the wrong planet, or in the time they've been gone, has something horrific happened?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, how long have they been? One of the kids says, well, we're asleep for like 100 years. And I'm like, oh man, imagine if actually they were.
Yeah, so it is like a kind of confusing little kind of moment, because they are recognizing things. They're like looking at buildings like, this is identical to At-Attan.
Yeah, there's my mum's house.
Yeah. They're like, and clearly,
that would throw you off.
Yeah, so what is going through your mind at this? I know you got a theory which we'll come to at the end, but what's kind of, because it is like a mirror planet of theirs, but
I hadn't had, my theory didn't come to me until later in the episode. Okay. So at this point, I'm watching this and I am genuinely like, how long were they away for? What has happened? Yeah. Have they flown through some like weird time anomaly and in space, and now they've come back and it's like, oh my God, the planet's been decimated. What the heck happened?
Well,
and they were like, oh, they flew out through the barrier and it took the barrier down, so now they've been like taken over by bad people. I know, I was like, something bad has happened.
Yeah, like my mind is thinking, if this is At-Attan, what the hell's happened? And it must be At-Attan, because they're like walking around Neil's house, you know, like what the hell's going on? So
there's a comment about the trees. The tree's too big. Whatever happened, it happened a long time ago. And I'm like, hey. Yeah. Trying to piece the pieces together, and nothing's really fitting at this point.
It was the tree comment that actually led me to go, okay, what if this isn't At-Attan? And what if this is like so in my mind, I'm like, what if At-Attan wasn't the first At-Attan? So what I mean by that is, like, what if the droids or whoever's controlling this society had a planet, had all the people on it? Now, mixing my sci-fi and my kind of fandoms a moment, you in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, there is a villain who basically wants to create a perfect society, and at any time it doesn't go the way he wants it to, he literally eradicates it, moves on and tries again.
Yep.
So that's where my head was. My head was like, they have this tower, this supervisor that no one you're not allowed in the tower. Maybe this supervisor character is like literally trying to create some sort of utopia, and, you know, if it doesn't work out, he destroys it, moves on. So perhaps this was At-Attan. It didn't work the way he wanted it to, so moved on to a different planet to set it up again. Do you see where I'm going with that?
At-Attan is actually like At-Attan 4.0 or something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The explanation, however, is then this planet is actually called At-Attan. And we first hear that actually coming from the droid, Smee. Yeah, I'm going to call him Smee.
Yep, he's definitely Smee, yeah.
That was interesting. So the 4 kids have gone off for a wander, you know, bumped into some child soldiers. Nothing weird about that in Star Wars. But what did you think to that moment with the droid kind of revealing that little bit more? Like, because obviously his memory banks have been faulty. We just look at him as a bit of a busted ass droid. But straight away, when he kind of blurted that out, started to talk about At-Attan, even like, oh yeah, you know, this is where I found and then just kind of climbed up. At-Attan, never heard of no At-Attan.
I was instantly like, oh, wait a minute. There's something blocking that.
Yeah, that's someone's put a block in place. So that was interesting. Like, straight away, that was kind of interesting. And so, you know, Jod's kind of like, intriguing. I'm gonna try and jog your memory. Like, walks him down. So while the kids run into some child soldiers and they're avoiding,
put Smee on babysitting duty.
Oh, mate, that was the funniest thing. Yeah.
Don't make me start counting.
Yeah. Here, baby.
John's just like,
Yeah. Sorry, I actually wrote that down. Is that proper made me laugh out loud? Here, baby.
It's just John's face where he just kind of turns around and walks back on the ship like, oh, it's not even going to bother. Just okay.
Well, my favorite thing from Jod in this episode is actually the kids have gone off and bumped into these child soldiers, and then Jod's trying to jog the memory of the droid, and this enemy of these child soldiers have got him surrounded. Like, what flag are you flying? And they all put their weapons on him. He has basically been looking after 4 kids for a few days, and he's ready to die. That cracked me up. Yeah, that absolutely. The symbolism of that. How many parents out there right now are thinking, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, 4 days of teenagers. Yeah. Yep. All right, I'm done.
Oh, they're pre-teens, man. They're all like, tweens, whatever it is. They're the worst.
Yeah.
These teenagers just go off and sulk sometimes. This lot are just constant yabbering.
Oh yeah, it's just the way. Yeah, just shoot me already.
Yeah, it was just such a. It was just a funny. Do you know what? Kill me. I've had enough. This is ridiculous. I'm being babysat by this dumb asteroid because a 10-year-old captain girl told him to.
I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, so that made me laugh. That was again like 2 moments from Jod early on. It was just proper laugh out loud funny. We do see him in the ship go through all of the kids' stuff. And does find the old Imperial credits and steals them.
Yeah.
The droid's like, oh, we got a thief. It's Jod. Oh, yeah, I didn't recognise you. And that was kind of funny.
And then he says something about the ash or something here is messing with his memory. And you kind of see Jod go, wait a minute.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on there, but he's got hold of them. So the kids are off with this group of child soldiers. They go back to like the camp. The girl they've met, her father is like the leader. There's a camp is inside what would have been their school. So that was they were kind of confused by that, and they're like, oh, and she calls herself captain. So the guy's like, oh, good, you're a captain, you're a warrior, brilliant. All right, so you were trained with some weapons, and then you'll fight with us. Typical kind of a bit of bravado getting him into that mess. But Neil doesn't want to fight. Neil's a pacifist. Neil doesn't want to use the weapons.
No.
And Neil then, in the best way possible, and I think in the simplest terms, Neil pulls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Neil does well.
Neil kind of goes down this route of bring kindness to the world, be peaceful, make treaties. And she's like, oh, he's so weak, but he's so kind.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I did like you're from a weak tribe. That did make me laugh. That was kind of like, but yeah, his kind of gooey, love all, hug everything attitude. She's clearly never. She says like, I've never met anyone like you before. So your planet, you don't fight all the time. Weird, interesting.
No, we have a game. We have this little game that we play, but that's about it. And I'm like, oh, bless you.
Yeah, so Neil's all like peace and love, no to fighting, and I'm kind of like, this is called Star Wars, Neil. The clue's in the name. Come on, man. Come on, get with the program.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, get a blaster out, Neil. Come on now. The funny thing is, and this is tongue in cheek from me, it's just like, no, one of the reasons a lot of people didn't enjoy episodes 1, 2, and 3 was the sheer amount of political kind of like, oh, the Senate has passed a resolution of, and people were just like, oh my God, like just get on with the fighting. And I was just kind of,
blaster? I want you to miss something. Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, with people watching this, and Neil's just like, oh, come on, peace and love, and I'm just like, oh, people are like, this is Star Wars. So that was my kind of gripe at Neil. Like, come on, Neil, get with the program. It's Star Wars. The clue's in the name. Get on with it.
Yeah, I want more. Vroom.
Yeah. We want whatever noises you made.
Oh, everyone knows that was a lightsaber. Come on, everyone knows.
Everybody doesn't. So Neil and his group are then tasked to be the scouts ahead of a war party. Neil is trembling with fear, doesn't want to go. So the young girl who's now besotted with Neil, seemingly clearly just his friends, is like, oh, I'll go with him and like give him some strength because he's afraid.
Yeah,
And
if sometimes in things like this you need a friend next to you, and he's like, oh, friend.
yeah, friend. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether he reacted so happy for a friend or whether he was hurt because, that he got friend zoned in that moment.
Oh, yeah, so that as well.
That was maybe his reaction, like, friend was like, oh, damn. Oh, I see, 1 minute you're playing with the trunk, next minute I'm just your friend. I get it. All right. So yeah, poor Neil. I think he was friend zoned in that moment, and I think that hurt him. But they do march forward, and out of the smog, fog, dust, dirt comes Jod.
Of course.
So the last time we saw Jod, he was basically saying, "Just kill me." And so my initial thought is he basically being used as the scout ahead of this other mob?
Yeah, that was where my thought first went to. I was like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah, this is kind of like, oh, hey guys, hey, what were you here for? Well, technically, I'm here to kill you. But no,
what are you doing? Oh, the same. Yeah.
He returns the stolen animals. The names completely went over my head.
Yeah, they kept saying it, and even with the subtitles on, I was like, no, I'm never going to pronounce that.
Yeah. So, and so like kind of creates like there's no need to attack them now. Here you go, I'm returning them. And then when he wanders off with the kids, he's kind of explaining to them like what happened. He's like, oh yeah, and then basically just a couple of credits, and they were like, what? You stole my? He's like, yeah, to save you. So, Jod.
yeah.
Jod.
If you're a Pinocchio, that definitely nose grew a little bit then. Yeah.
One of Neil's new bestie had said to him like, "There's this fallen sanctum which the kids refer to as the supervisor's tower."
The supervisor's tower. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she shows them to that so they can go and take a look. She then departs, giving Neil a kiss on the trunk. I mean, I think Neil.
It was on the cheek. It was on the cheek.
Was it? I thought
it was a kiss on the cheek.
I thought it was. I
thought he was blushing. No, it was a cheek.
I thought it was a trunky kiss. Oh,
no.
Oh, poor Neil.
I know.
So it's definitely a friend zone situation then, if that's the case. Poor Neil.
Oh, I think so.
So the group then go up this tower. Jod manages the hot wire, the elevator sort of thing. They go up. The place is a ruin, like everything on this planet. But interestingly, in the top of this tower, it's sort of got pillars all around it. And on each pillar, there is a planet and the coordinates. And the planets are all called at something. So like At-Attan, At-Attan, all these different planet names. And so I'm guessing this ties into what we learned from the Meg character last week, which was about these kind of planets of the old Republic that were deemed like the crown jewels.
Yeah, Kim kind of says there was a few of them, and it shows them like the map. There's a circle of planets sort of thing, and I'm like, okay, this must be them.
Yeah, same. And they finally find the pillar, which is titled At-Attan. And see, now initially it looked to me like a lightsaber had cut through it. So I was kind of like, oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's interesting. But actually, no. Far more interestingly, Smee then chimes in, yeah, I did that.
I love that. Like, oh my God, who would do that? And Smee's like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, what?
When?
What? Why? Why would you do that? It's like, I hadn't ever heard of no at. It's like, you keep saying that. The young girl, obviously a bit kind of overruled by everything, does then realise he's a droid. Droids have got to do what you say. And she's like, I used to wipe, like, my nanny droid, I used to mess with the memory cores so I could get away with stuff.
We saw it in the very first episode.
We did. Yeah, it ties in really nice. It's been a very well put together written show, I think, for stuff like that. There's, like, very little's been done for no reason, and it all kind of ties in, which I like.
Yeah. She
then orders Smee, like, I'm your captain, so I want you to tell me about this. And he basically then reveals that the captain of the ship that he was on not only ordered him to destroy the coordinates after he took them, he killed all the crew that were there that saw them. So whoever the captain was of that ship straight up murdered everyone to keep this planet to himself. Like this whole fabled find the treasure of At-Attan thing.
And it's kind of like, oh, okay. Now, like, this was then my brain started whirring a little bit.
Okay, right. So we will.
Like, oh, okay.
We will come on to your whirring brain in a moment, because the droid then is like, he also told me, if anyone come asking, I was to rip them apart. And he then goes for the kids.
Limb by limb. Limb by limb.
Neil bravely distracts him, and he's going for him, and then Jot manages to deactivate him just before he gets to Neil.
I loved him trying to use the blasters. Like, nope.
Yeah, this thing's it's just not going to work.
Always
also,
go for the off switch.
Yeah. I mean, I made a note of that. That was a great line. I did personally really enjoy Neil's total bravery and amazing, and then faints.
Oh,
Neil, you're a hero.
Neil, he's fainted. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he has. I love you, Neil. Well
that
done.
was clearly an adrenaline high that ran out very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, my note is literally Neil is brave, then faints, legend.
Yeah.
Like that was that was. It's all too much. He's been a child soldier. He's had a romance that became a friend zone, and then he had to save his friends from their droid.
Mr. Peace and Love, yeah.
It has been a day for poor Neil. Limb from limb, yeah. So we know Smee obviously has some issues. Whether they're going to reactivate him or not, I mean, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any safe space in which you can react. Attach him to the outside of the ship and then reactivate him, maybe.
So that's it. I mean, they're going to kind of have to, because they want to try and get some answers. So it's like going to be interesting to me if perhaps like detach the head and just reactivate the head.
I was just thinking, just stick him on the dashboard.
Yeah, and he's going to be like, right, I'm going to rip your limb. Oh, hang on. I have no arms. So, I mean, that's kind of the episode that we've walked through. Now, where's your theory then? Because I've got a few kind of thoughts. I've seen a theory online, which I've seen a lot, but I just don't like personally. So go on, where's your...
If that is the same as what I'm about to say, I'll be really upset.
Okay, bring it on.
So I'm thinking about this, and Smee was left on the ship on a planet that he was allowed to tell no one about.
Yeah.
So my theory is that actually Wim's grandfather or something like that.
Yeah.
Or great-grandfather. It's going to be linked to Wim. That's my theory, like a great-grandparent.
Okay.
Is the captain.
Okay.
And I think he went there, and he is actually the person in the top of the tower, and I think it's going to be like this original captain is the guy in control of At-Attan.
Right.
And I think the treasure, I have one of those theories, like everyone keeps talking about treasure.
Yeah.
And as soon as you talk about treasure, everyone goes, well, gold and money.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I think the treasure is going to be something non-money value.
Okay.
So whether it's going to be a case of, the treasure is the fact that this is the only planet around that has life that can live on it, or something. There's going to be something that's not money.
The treasure is the friends we made along the way, sort of thing.
That sort of thing, yeah. And John is going to be absolutely pissed when he gets there at the end and realizes that here's the treasure that we gave you, and actually it's knowledge.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those sort of things. But I think it's somewhere, the captain is somewhere linked to Wim.
Okay, why Wim? I've not seen anything so far that would kind of...
No, just because of all the four characters, he is the most annoying, and that normally tells me that you're going to be you're going to have something important.
Okay, all right.
Can you imagine if the captain was actually like Neil's granddad or something instead? That'd be amazing. but I have a feeling it's going to be Wim's great granddad or great grandmother or something is going to be the original captain that went there and then kind of took over At-Attan, and they're actually the person in charge. That is my theory.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent theory. I mean, it's not one I've thought about at all. So, and it's not one I've seen, which is good. The one that I've seen is that At-Attan is actually Exegol, which is the one that's being thrown around a lot, and I really don't like it. I think that's crap. But it is out there. Like, everyone seems to be talking about it. For those
for any listeners that don't know,
for you, Exegol is the planet in the sequel trilogy where the Empire have hidden away a world to build their fleet back. The Emperor Palpatine has built all these ships, and to get there you have to go through a very specific way. It's like a Sith planet hidden away. So a lot of people are like, well, this planet's been hidden away. No one even knows it exists. No one knows how to get there. I think people have put those two and two together to create, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the great work is actually doing all this, creating a new Imperial fleet.
Analysts and accountants.
Yeah. So, but it's a weird one because, like, the kids are all... Our parents are analysts and accountants, but they could be an unreliable narrator. We don't know.
That is just what they're told.
All the references, the great work. No one knows what that is. And this is a planet that's completely disconnected from the rest, but they do know about the Republic. They just don't know that the Republic fell. They don't know about the Empire. But do the adults? Do you know what I mean? It's like...
It's one of those of when you come of age, we tell you the truth.
Yeah, we tell you that the barrier is there to keep us safe from all of this, and we don't go out beyond it because then people will learn about it, and this planet's special because of, you know, whatever it is that they deem as special that they consider a treasure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you saying about that with the treasure, I'm now like racking my brains, like, oh, this planet's peaceful, so that's our treasure. And it's kind of like you said, Jod would just be like ready to shoot people.
Or himself at that point.
Yeah,
I have gone through all of this with 4 annoying children, and my payday is learning a secret handshake.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes. Nothing quite like, I mean, I did chuckle at the whole, you know, the 4 annoying children. He's like, yeah, like, I'm trading your animals back to you for those 4. And he's like, are you sure? We got some great hides. And he's like, oh, really? Tell me about the hides. And Neil's
How
like,
many?
Whoa!
That was like a proper nice moment between them all. Because it was like, oh, I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm joking.
I would trade your asses for 10 of those.
I would absolutely trade your ass, yeah. If I didn't think I needed you around right now for that droid in the ship, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, I again, the show is fun. It's like this. I don't know if this sounds like a compliment, but I hope people realise it is. Like, I don't have to think too hard. I don't have to analyse too much. It's kind of nicely laid out. I can just watch it.
It's just fun.
But it is. But it is making me think. It is making me theorise that there is a good enough storyline to the show that is really intriguing.
Like, I think I said before on the other podcast, like, I really worried that this show was going to start.
Yeah.
And we were going to do like 2 episodes of trying to dive in and find good things about it. And by episode 3, it'd just be us going, yeah, they went to a planet, they did this, they left. Whoop.
Yeah.
And I was really worried that was literally where it was going to go. Like, it's a kids show. Like,
yeah,
why
is, yeah.
They might as well have made it bloody animated. Like, what is going on? That is what I was expecting.
Hey, some of the Star Wars animation, mate, is not a kids show.
I know. But that's what I was expecting. And actually, we're after episode 4. I've come up with my own headcanon theory.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
And all this, and I'm like, oh, this is a good sign.
Yeah, it is.
This is a good
enjoyable.
Sign.
It is really enjoyable. So, I mean, that's the show this week. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to episode 5. Now, interesting thing is episode 5 actually drops, I think, on Christmas Day. me and Dee are going to be busy at Christmas, along with most other people. So
there's something going on that day, isn't there?
Yeah, and like generally kids would be kind of miffed, like, no, can't open your presents. Daddy's got a podcast.
Daddy needs to watch the TV show first.
Yeah. So I'm not
I can make
entirely...
a tradition. I'll watch something Star Wars every Christmas. Instead of my normal Jurassic Park, I can move to Star Wars.
Yeah, I still find your Christmas Jurassic Park thing. Yeah, we'll circle that on another day. Yeah. But from our point of view on the show, I think probably the best thing to do would probably be do episodes 5 and 6 together the following week. Unless some magical window opens, but I don't know. So keep an eye on the socials for when episode 5 is going to drop. We may well merge it with episode 5 and 6 because of Christmas. But yeah, keep an eye on the socials and we'll update you on that. But yeah, until then, everybody, the next show you'll hear from us is the Christmas special. There's a lot. There's a lot to look forward to in 2025. So many shows returning, so many new shows and movies, etc., which we're going to be talking about and I'm looking forward to. But if I don't speak to you before, the Christmas special is very soon. Have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll be back very, very soon.
And may the Santa be with you.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.